The Ecovats Deebot Osmo T. Let me try that again. The Deebot Osmo T8. What? Hang on a second. This is the Osmo T8, or as I like to affectionately call her, Eve, as in like Wall-E and Eve. Well, just like in that movie where she's determined to do her job, so too, this little robot vacuum moppy thing, which can be very persistent and has a little bit of personality too. So, in this unboxing and review, is the Osmo T8 worth your money? How good is it? And well, will I be keeping this unit? In this large, heavy box, the first thing you see is the T8, a sleek, modern white round disc measuring about 35 centimeters diameter and just 9.3 centimeters high, which means it's pretty good at going under things. Removing the plastic protective layer reveals the face of the T8, with 2 eyes and a nose hiding its sensors and LiDAR. Next is the mop. The washable microfiber cloth can be used for mopping if you fill the T8 with water, or if you attach one of the disposable wipes, it will buff floorboards or tiles. Packed in the box is not 1 set, but 2 tri-spoke brushes, a simple push-on affair that takes a little moment to install. Those brushes help collect debris by ping-ponging them towards its rotating vacuum mouth, which measures 18 centimeters by 4 centimeters, which, if you think sounds small, it is, but it doesn't matter because unlike your vacuum, which maybe has the largest head possible to minimize having to go backwards and forwards a lot, this thing will just go backwards and forwards all day long. And you know what? That's awesome. And well, not so awesome at the same time. Why? Because the wheel marks and vacuum lines aren't aesthetically pleasing as to what you might be used to from a standard vacuum cleaner. But for me, this isn't an issue because, well, I'm lazy and I don't like vacuuming at the best of times. So for something that does this day to day, whipping around the house, those lines, they're completely fine by me. Back to the unboxing. The charging base acts as the T8's home base, which is great if you have a 1-level home or office. Weirdly, if you have multiple floors, they actually want you to unplug this thing and move it with the T8 so that its multi-floor mapping can do this. But in reality, I didn't bother moving around together as well, it was yet just another thing to carry, plug in and fuss over. Instead, all I did was just pick up and put Eve down wherever I wanted her to clean and just press go. It worked pretty well and we'll just return to where you actually started it.
I can't find the charging dock. Returning to where I started.
Now, the penalty you'll pay for this shortcut is that it won't map your whole home and will instead say, but that's okay, as a T8 will still clean and map what it thinks is actually a new space and will do it a similar time to an area that is already previously mapped. It once again shows its personality in a fashion reminiscent of Interstellar's docking sequence, gently sliding onto these contact charging points and says,
I am restoring the map. Please do not stand beside me.
She's got a bit of spunk, don't you think? Finishing off this unboxing, you've got the usual regulatory bits, instruction manuals, which isn't half bad at getting you up and going, and then the internal filter, which sits inside the 420mm dustbin, which, like other robot vacuums, is its biggest weakness. They're just so small and need emptying after every vacuuming session. So to get around this, you could buy the auto emptying station that empties the T8 dustbin automatically after each cleaning session and store an impressive 30 days of dirt and debris. Nice, and something that we would actually consider getting if we didn't have a multi-story house like we do. Turning to the underside of this bot, you've got 2 stocky rubberized wheels, a small swiveling wheel, and various sensors like carpet detection, fall detection, and more. The water reservoir to the rear of the unit is where you clip on the mop attachment, and doing so, the T8 automatically detects that next time you start it up, it will mop as it goes. Removing the mop attachment is difficult, requiring patience and skill to get it off. Every time I do it, I actually feel like I'm going to break it, so if you guys know how to actually do this easily, please put a comment down below and I will pin it to the top of the area so that everyone can learn. Having a robot vacuum means that you now have on show a new appliance to not only occupy space but also look at in your home. Sure, you could put this away in some room away from guests, but that white body sure does know how to collect dust quickly. For those nerds like me, I quite like the look of the T8, reckoning that periscope bumped like a Star Trek bridge. In it, they reportedly have some structured light technology that scans and collects object information via laser beam projection. Now, I was curious if this was true because if you watch it, it actually has these little flashes of red light, similar to what you might see at supermarket checkouts. So, what I did was I broke out my smoke machine, smoked up my hallway, set off my smoke alarm, turned off the lights, and as you can see, nothing. No fancy Terminator light beams, no laser light show. Instead, just the alarm going crazy, and while my missus, none too happy about it. Ah, fun times. So what I think is going on here is that there's like a low power laser beam designed to keep your eyes safe, along with like a spread of LEDs, plus also the front bumper, which all combine to form a 3D image and map of your place. Ecovacs claim that it can compare and recognize items down to as little as 1mm, which is mighty impressive. But even though it has this face, the T8 occasionally seems dumb and just bumps into stuff, as if to say, hey, I'm vacuuming here, move! See? More personality. Later, I'll get to how this combination of bumper, LEDs and lasers work when it actually comes to cleaning and how it works out where it's going to go. But spoiler alert, I found this unit to be very thorough and covers areas surprisingly well. The Osmo T8 being a smart device also has an app, and whilst there is a lot in here, perhaps too much for this video, I did find that it cautiously, if perhaps too slowly, revealed its features over time, which for me is frustrating. You see, when you first use the vacuum, it needs to map your home, and after doing that, it then allows you to customize the T8. Things like vacuum power, water flow, and basic functions are there, but cleaning sequence, multi-floor zones, specific areas, auto custom cleaning schedules, and what more are actually, hidden, and you just can't get to them straight away. So if I were you, Ecovacs, I would actually maybe have them as available, click on it and say, hey, you first need to do this before you can do that. Okay, so with all that said, how good or bad does it perform? Well, I gotta be honest with you. Having seen other units, I didn't have high hopes. But you know what? I was wrong. It actually is pretty good. The first room we got to clean was our kitchen dining area. This room has the highest amount of traffic, and with a family of 6, it needs to be vacuumed every day and mopped several times a week. So it's a perfect spot to test Eve on. To get the best clean, you need to tidy up first, and that's something to think about if you've got kids. When you first run them, Ecovacs recommend you actually follow it around to make sure that it doesn't get itself into any trouble. That's like akin to how you nervously might follow your little baby around as it learns to walk. We found that most bits were picked up, with some things missed due to those rotating tri-spoke brushes, playing a game of tennis, bantering fluff between each side, but for the most part, it worked well. Being round, it can't get into tight corners, but that also means it can navigate furniture, doors, and soft furnishings pretty well. I mean, check out that under door action, or this pan drawer. No issue here. So after doing a thorough job of covering both areas in around 30 minutes, it returned to home base without me needing to do anything. My wife was somewhat impressed, me more so, but that changed one afternoon before we visited my parents. I put Eve to mop in the same area, having filled the container, attaching the mop plate and pad, and pressing go. We returned home several hours later, and can I say, wow. Both myself and my missus were super impressed. I mean, this thing actually mopped just as good as we can. And so it was at this point that the conversation around Eve changed from, well, let's see how it goes, we'll put up with it, review it, and we'll return it once done, to now, I hope we can actually keep it. Seriously. Battery life is good with a claimed runtime of 3 hours, which in this house isn't possible because of the multi-level design. But I have used it several times without returning it to the charging dock, and it's done at least 90 minutes of continuous vacuuming. The sensors do the job well, sensing transitions from tiles to carpet and potential falls downstairs. Cleverly, Eve will automatically ramp up its vacuuming power when it detects carpet, and also avoids going onto it if you have the mop attached. In terms of performance, is vacuuming carpets is very good. I've set Eve to standard for our tiles and max with times when she's doing carpets. It picks up dirt and hairs very well, and I think its performance is helped by that rotating beating head. I mean, check this out. This is how much stuff it picked up after just one vacuum of our upstairs area, and we have a Dyson V8, so you know it's doing a good job. In an ironic twist, one of the downfalls of vacuuming so well is that the T8 must be emptied after each cleaning session, because, well, that little dustbin doesn't hold very much at all. But, you know, that's okay, as having a robot vacuum makes keeping the house clean. Like, that's so much easier. You just set it to do this thing every day, set it, forget it, and you're done. So no matter what you're doing, the T8 will run when we're at work, down at the shops, or even sleeping. But our little dog's a little cautious of her, so your experience may differ. I must make mention, the mapping feature on this robot is good, and, well, especially useful as upstairs, where our young girls like to play, being confident that there's no toys or Lego on the ground, well, can't be assured. So using the mapping tool to exclude an area is great because, well, who has the time to go pick up all those pesky toys, right? Before I get into my final thoughts and whether or not the Ecovacs Osmo T8 should be on your shopping list, do know that my next gushing comments are not swayed by Ecovacs providing this unit for review, and they didn't have financial nor editorial input to this video. So, the important question is the T8 any good, and, well, would we buy it? After more than 2 weeks, we've run the T8 more than 30 times and our experience has been almost all positive. Sure, the dustbin, cleaning of tight corners and more difficulty removing the mop attachment could be better, but they don't detract from the Osmo T8's ability to not only vacuum, but also mop. We were pleasantly surprised by how good it was at picking up dust, hairs and occasional toys, and even more impressed by how good it mops. For daily touch-ups, the Osmo T8 is great. You need to do a proper clean once per week, but that is now so much easier now that this thing is doing the daily grind. If you're on the fence about getting this robot vacuum, my message to you is this. It is a life changer. Just set it up, let it do its thing, sit down, cruise through your socials, watch some YouTube videos, and, well, subscribe to me whilst you're at it, and just do anything but vacuum or mop. Instead, let the Osmo T8 take care of your basic cleaning and, well, relax. It's that good and something we would consider buying.